Okay, so what you are seeing right now is not just a Minecraft clone. No, this one has Grim Reaper. Don't get too close to him, trust me. This one also has a whole lost world filled with dinosaurs and walking carnivorous plants. Look at these guys just flying around like it's no one's business. This is Hytale, and I'll be spending the next 100 days in this world exploring everything that the game has to offer and most importantly, trying to survive.
Oh, Jesus Christ! What the? Nope. Up. Oh my god, I'm dying.
Day 1. Well, Day 1 did not have the greatest start. I should also mention I'm not playing this alone as I'll be tackling this with a partner. Now, as soon as I went out the door from the cave you spawn in, I saw a wolf and a goblin. Which would have not been too bad if they didn't also see me. Not good. 30 seconds into it and I already have to run back.
I'm coming! No!
This guy is just waiting for me to open the door again. Not good at all. The new plan was for us to dig underground and escape through a tunnel, and let me tell you this, digging in this game without any tools? Don't even try. Because we did. For a few minutes until we gave up. As soon as we went out, my partner fell into a trap. Those guys are smart. Not only they prey on you the moment you spawn, but they also set up traps. Well, I initially tried to go on a rescue mission by beating the goblin with a rock, but as you can imagine, that did not go too well. So instead, I retreated, created a pickaxe, jumped in the hole, and managed to dig a tunnel to escape. But I did not forget what happened here. We will be back for revenge. For now though, we explored around this brightly colorful world, I beat a rabbit with some plant fiber and then proceeded to create some tools. I made a stone sword, a stone axe, and most importantly, a wooden bow and some stone arrows. Because if I was going to survive for 100 days, I will need to be able to stay at safe distances sometimes. On our way to find a good place for our base, we found what I thought would be an abandoned manor. The residents of that manor did not like me thinking that, because the moment I stepped in, we were assaulted by quite a few skeletons.
Oh, let's not go in. Oh, there's archers.
A bit too many to manage for the first day. I was not about to die on day 1, so we ran away for now and found a good place for the base, cut down some trees and created a wooden hut. On day 2 we found an entrance to a cave, so of course we had to go down and explore. This was a relatively small cave, but we did find 2 very useful ores, bronze and iron. And so we mined as much as we could of it and went out the cave to head back to the base. Now, bear with me guys. No, seriously, bear with me. This bear had no chance, as I was up on a hill hitting him with my arrow.
Oh! He deals damage!
He deals a lot of damage. From one hit I was less than half HP, so I had to run. And then he gave up chasing me. I wasn't going to let it end like this, not after how many times I already hit it. I thought surely he was low HP, so I went back to attack it and... I was right. Although, looking back on it now, I was lucky because I now know that creatures heal back their HP when they are not in combat. And I did not have enough HP to survive 2 more hits. After that, I headed back to the house to smell the ores and something caught my eye. You see that island in the distance, guys? We are going there. But we're not just going to swim there, no, that would be lame. Or maybe I would be lame for still using that word. Anyway, the new plan was for me to build a bridge so we can get on that island. And if you don't like that idea, well, I'm building a bridge, so get over it. And so I basically spent the rest of the day cutting trees and making some progress on the bridge. As I was building, I saw some things moving in the distance. I didn't know exactly what yet, but just you wait, I'm coming for you. Day 3, I don't remember why, but I went out to look for sheep. Maybe it was to make some beds, but I don't know. All I know is that after killing 1 sheep, I got distracted as I found an entrance to a cave, so I just had to go in it. And I really wish I didn't. Everything started fine. I found some copper, I found some iron, it was going great. But the more I went down, the more spiderwebs I encountered until I saw...
Oh, wow!
And I just think to myself, what is this? Are those spider cocoons? I'll try to get rid of them.
I just killed it!
Wait, did I just kill something? It wasn't a spider, that's for sure. But if that wasn't a spider, where is the spider? I went to mine further down and I still couldn't see any spiders, so I mined all the iron and tried to return back up and, well...
Ah! Oh no! Oh no, 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 no. No, no, please don't follow me. Fuck off, fuck off, fuck off, fuck off.
What is he doing here? He wasn't there before. I panicked, so I built some blocks around me to try to think what I should do. And the copper pickaxe I had completely broke. So I thought, hey, maybe I can make a stone pickaxe, but unfortunately I was missing the materials to make one. Now here's the thing, looking back to the footage, I can see that I actually already had the stone pickaxe, but I was too blind so I didn't notice that. I initially thought I could still use the broken pickaxe to dig a tunnel back up, but after spending a few minutes trying to dig with it, I realized I'm way too far down. It would take 10 minutes just to get back up, I'm not that crazy. So anyway, after another quick encounter with the spider, I ran away and spent the next 10 minutes digging my way out with a broken pickaxe. A man's gotta do what a man's gonna do to stay alive. The only issue? Well, it took me so long that by the time I made it out, it was night and... Well, let me tell you this, you do not want to be out at night at the start. Not when you have these crazy creepy zombies crawling towards you. And especially, not when you have these big brutes chasing you. My guy took so many hits. Luckily, I was able to hit him as he was not chasing me, so after that, we were able to go back to the base. On day 4, I built an iron sword and some bronze armor, so I thought, you know what? This will be more than enough. Time to return to the starting zone and take revenge on the goblin. And if you think the outside is dangerous only during the night, well, let me show you this. On our way to the spawn zone, we encountered 2 wolves and I felt quite confident. I hit one of them once and then blocked their attack. But blocking drains your stamina, you cannot block forever. And I found out the hard way. Oh, no, 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 I need to run, I need to run. Okay, so wolves are also dangerous. So we get to the goblin and the bastard brought his friend. But we also came prepared. They stood no chance against 2 bows. Sweet, sweet revenge. We looted a bit around and I spent more than I cared to admit trying to shoot down an owl before heading back. I spent day 5 trying to collect some cobblestone and then I resumed the bridge building work. And this day I got close enough to the island to see what exactly is on the other side. So there was a cow of some sorts, which whatever, but next to that cow I saw it. Grim Reaper. That looked a bit out of my league for now. So I thought I should build the bridge, but not to connect it fully until I'm ready for the Grim Reaper. Day 6. The bridge construction continued on this day. At this point I was feeling like those bridge builders in Naruto. Maybe I should name this the Uzumaki Bridge, connecting it with the Island of Mist. What am I even saying right now? Anyway, day 7. This was the day I completed the bridge as far as I felt it was safe for it to go. Now, it wasn't the prettiest bridge, but as you can tell, I'm not good at building in these sorts of games, so this will have to do. With the bridge done, I wanted to collect some linen scraps as they were needed for the iron armor. The only issue, I had no idea how to get them. So after I went around killing different types of animals, I found out the animal that dropped the linen scraps. It was this animal. Skeletons give fabric? Okay, I don't know how to make sense of that, but you know what, I'll take it. And as the day was ending, I looked at the bridge and realized something. Do you guys also feel like something is missing from this bridge? Because for me, it felt like the bridge was too much up in the air with nothing supporting it. So maybe the bridge wasn't done as it needed some supporting pillars? My initial idea was to build them from the bottom up, but that did not work for too long because the further I went into the water, the deeper it got. Like, look at this. I cannot go to the bottom of this. So I came up with a different plan on how to do it, which I put in practice and finished on day 8. Also on day 8, I made the backpack and started placing down a few fences. These fences were prepared to hold animals so that we can have a farm to grow all the cattle we need. No more hunting wild animals for food. It was time to move away from the hunter-gatherer stage of the game. And so that's exactly what we did. We caught a few rabbits and then later at night we caught some piglets. But these piglets were not going to give up their freedom so easily. No, they would bend reality in order to escape.
He went through! The pig literally just slipped through. Oi!
So after rebuilding the fence to make it so that they wouldn't slip through anymore, day 9 came and...
How did you get out?
How did this happen again? To make it even worse, as we tried to fix the fence, the moment they saw an opening, they went for it. This was a big disaster. You know what? It shall be known as the big disaster of day 9. After we made the fence inescapable, it was time to go on an adventure. Not long after, we found a temple. A temple that seems to have in its basement a mysterious gateway. Only one thing stopping me from going through that portal. That one golem. So I'm sorry, but I'll have to get rid of you. With the bow, I managed to destroy the golem. Even so, it was a really hard fight, so I was thinking to myself, do I really want to go in an unknown world that might have a lot of enemies as hard as this golem? Maybe I should play it a bit safer. I'll return here later. There were 2 issues though. 1, on the way back to the base it got really dark. 2, not only I saw a giant flying thing in the sky, but it also saw me.
It saw me! No, that's a big nope.
It didn't chase me that far though, so I was able to return safely to the base. Also on this night I realized that those are not rabbits, they are jackalopes because they have horns, aren't they? Now, day 10. On day 10 we decided to go back underground to look for some more linen scraps as there was a goblin encampment with goblins that were dropping them. Getting rid of them wasn't too hard, but once we did that we continued exploring the massive cave. And as I went further down, I noticed this. Look at this. A whole biome that looks like the nether that was right under our feet the whole time. We took down one lava golem from here, but that took most of our arrows, so we decided to come back later for this. And honestly, that was the right decision because down there lives the most horrible creature. You'll see what I mean in a minute. So we went out of the cave and into day 11. Oh, day 11. What a day. It started off well. We realized we needed more iron for the iron armor, so we went back to mine some. What a chill day, am I right? But on this day, I encountered an issue that would haunt me for the rest of the game. A bit of background though, in Minecraft when you press shift and you are at the edge of a block, it stops you from falling down. And because I played Minecraft, I was used to pressing shift when mining, and so I did that here too and...
Whoa!
No, this was not good at all. Not only I fell, but I fell into the lava biome. The only reason I survived this was because there were no monsters around. However, it was only the beginning of my issues with this. I'll have more events such as this one, let's just say that. For now though, went back out and by the time I did that, the day was over. So, day 12. On the morning of this day, I noticed that none of the animals that we caught grew. Because you can't catch adult animals in the box, you have to bring baby animals, which don't drop food or wool. So now that they didn't grow, I was wondering if you had to do anything to help them. So I tried to leave a feeding bag for them and even feed them wheat, but it didn't seem to work. I thought I'd return to that later because something happened just then. All the iron finished smelting, so it was time to upgrade to iron armor. And what better way to test it than to go back to the portal. So once we got rid of the golem, it was time to... this is not what I was expecting. This is as far as it gets from being a hostile environment. This was a paradise environment. I did not want to attack anything in here. Instead, I got to learn about this new feature the game had called memories. Every creature you encounter, you remember them and then you have to come to this statue and record them like a codex. This gives you new recipes such as backpack upgrades and farming equipment. But this is not what I wanted. I wanted to test the new armor and weapons. So, day 13, we went to a skeleton stronghold and... I got a bit too cocky, let me tell you that. I just went in with the bow and whilst I did take a few out, I was soon outnumbered. Not only that, but out of nowhere this mage guy came out and he dealt a lot of damage. And now more are coming out.
Oh, there's so many. Retreat, 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 retreat.
And after healing up, we went back in and took down the rest of the enemies. And with that done, I was able to look around, and let me tell you, I found the most amazing treasure. I found a possible subscriber. If you haven't yet, please do consider subscribing as it helps a lot. If you are already subscribed, well, thank you. In reality though, the loot around here wasn't too good. I did find an ancient coffin which I broke and released an ancient evil.
Oh, he fell through.
With that done, we returned to the base. And on day 14, I basically spent the whole day manually arranging things from my inventory into the chests. Now, of course, there is a button to quick arrange, but Pasme has not found it to this point. Don't worry, Pasme, I believe in you. You will one day. But not on day 15 either, because that day was spent just finishing up the roof of the building. Building in this game is nice as you have a large variety of blocks you can use, but I really wish the half slabs would be more optimized because they don't work well at all. Anyway, day 16. On this day, I had a big issue. I realized it was taking way too long finding out where everything went in each chest after coming back from exploring. I needed things to be a bit more organized. And for that, I needed one of the most useful items for arranging stuff around. Signs. Which the game had, you know. It was good, cheap to make, I could make thousands if I wanted to. I could even place them anywhere I want. Fantastic! However, I could not for the life of me figure out how to write on the signs. I spent literally the whole day trying to figure this out. Seriously, I tried everything. Placing them on specific spots, right-clicking on one after they are placed, right-clicking on the other side, trying to write while it's still in my inventory. Nothing worked. So on day 17 I gave up on that as we figure out where we need to go for the next upgrade. The desert. I can't remember how we figured this out, I think it was on the description of the thorium ore. But anyway, as soon as we left I got instantly distracted because I found a horse. And I was able to mount it. So I had to bring him to the base to tame it. I thought the way you would do it is by feeding it enough times until it becomes friendly. But that didn't work. So I thought, hey, maybe if I put a saddle on it, that's gonna work. But there's no saddles in this game so far, I think. I could still mount the horse, but the moment I dismount it, it will just run away. So for now, I left the horse at one of the fences and we headed to the desert. The journey was long. So long, in fact, that it got dark by the time we got there. Lots of scary creatures out in the desert at night. A lot of these flying guys and brutes. Brutes chasing me. Look at this guy, void spawn. And so we found a random hole to go in and wait for the night, which turned out to not be a random hole, as it was this guy's home. Now, I want you to be a witness here. He attacked me first, and so I had the right to protect myself. I don't want anyone saying stuff like, oh, but you went into his house and woke him up, okay? I was just a lost traveler. So anyway, with the house being empty, we waited for the day. On day 18, I found a camel with a tortoise shell on its back, so I wanted to ride it. I couldn't do that even with stealing its spawn to keep it as a hostage, so I thought maybe I just have to raise the little one to be able to ride it. As we continued exploring, we found thorium. It's everywhere in here. It's not even underground, it's just on the surface level, which made it really easy to find and mine. After we mined the thorium, we found a not so abandoned mine, so we carefully made sure it's abandoned. The poor skeletons down there couldn't do much as we camped the ladder they had to get on to reach us. After we got rid of them, we spent the rest of the day looting around. If I'm honest, looting didn't take too long. What did was finding a minecart with rails and fooling around with it trying to figure out how it works. It seems kind of broken when you turn corners.
Doesn't turn too well. Oh, did I steal yours? No. Let me try. It's not doing well with turning around. Yeah, no, it's not doing well with turning around.
On day 19, we continued exploring the desert and we even found an oasis. Look at this. Look how cool this area is. It even has some flamingos.
Fuck is that, a flamingo?
We wanted to explore more, but after going into a cave here too, our backpacks were filled and so we had to return to the base. And as we did, we started getting chased by not only these creepy crawlers, but also by a cactus? This Digimon looking guy was chasing us. Come here, you. Day 20. On day 20, as we got to the base, we put down one of the animals we found out in the wild. A meerkat. And it was absolutely adorable. Oh, look at him trying to escape. But that gave me an idea. In one of the earlier days, we found a warthog, so I now wanted to capture a small warthog as well and put it in the same place to have both Timon and Pumbaa. Before I could do that, I spent a big portion of the day arranging all the stuff we gathered in the chests. Well, I guess arranging is calling it a bit too nicely. I just randomly dropped stuff where I found other stuff and you know what I mean. We also upgraded Armorer's Bench, which meant we can now make thorium armor. That did not happen on day 21 though, because in order to do that, we needed some more materials. We had quite a lot of thorium, so we were fine with that, but we also needed some medium leather, and I had no idea what dropped medium leather, so I had to go out and investigate. Oh, but before I did, I spent some minutes just trying to uproot this tree root that grew at our base. Man, these roots really went down, it took a while to get rid of all. I even wrote in my notes, spent half the day trying to get rid of some tree roots. Now, don't exaggerate past me, I know it felt like that, but it wasn't that much. Anyway, after a bit of exploration, I found that wolves give medium hide, which was great. It was time for some wolf hunting. But more importantly, I found this little guy. Hi Pumbaa, get in the box. I'll take you to your best friend. Hakuna Matata, guys. Now we just need to learn how to get them to grow. On day 22, our quest for medium leather brought us all the way to Canada. Unfortunately for the moose population here, they drop medium hides. Are moose a protected species in Canada? I honestly don't know. I apologize to all Canadians watching that you had to see this. Let me show you something else instead. How about I show you this cool ice cave I went in? This was a massive cave and I got really distracted exploring it. I may have gotten a bit too distracted as I kept going down in it, and by the time I realized I had no torches, it was too late. I was completely lost. I didn't even know how I did not have any torches. I think that by this point I realized that there was a button to quick organize everything from your inventory into your chests, and one of the chests might have had a torch, so I probably put all the ones from my inventory there and... Anyway, look at this. These ice caves have a lot of underwater places you can explore if only there was a way to breathe underwater. I think this was the point I was starting to consider that there might be a way to breathe underwater, but we'll see in a bit. For now though, on day 23 I got out. Well, I'm lying. I got out during the night and enjoyed this cozy blizzard and this Aurora Borealis. The weird thing about this Aurora Borealis was that it was entirely localized in this region.
Yes.
Anyway, on day 23 I found these penguins and I captured one of them. But this was not just any penguin. No. What he will become will be more than just a penguin. But for now, I defended these penguins from their ultimate predator, a saber-tooth. Well, a snow saber-tooth, I guess. These guys hit hard. But they're not even the apex predator in this region. For that, I had to go a bit further, towards these massive mountains. This was a dangerous area as I was entering the Ice Yeti territory. I did not dare to step in there while he was watching me. He didn't seem like he was interested in me if I wasn't going on the mountain, so I went around him and started shooting at him. And you may notice how the enemies had a health bar on top of their head now. Well, that is because I discovered you can turn enemy health on, and that is a very helpful thing to have. Very helpful indeed. Anyway, after shooting a lot of arrows, I was able to take down the Yeti by keeping my distance, and he dropped some essence of ice. I had no idea what this was. In fact, I was only able to find out much later in the video. But you'll see. For now, I explored this mountain and found out this is the place where you can mine another type of ore. Cobalt. This seems to be on the same level as thorium, so it is very welcome as we could make some more armor from that too. Fighting so many enemies though, I did not even realize this, but most of my weapons were almost at the breaking point. And that was bad because we were really far away from the base. Yeah, I was not going to fight another Yeti, not under these conditions. At this point, it was time to return home. It was getting dark however, so after we found more moose, we found some wooden huts and spent the night in there. Day 24. Day 24, we just spent returning to the base and clearing the inventory. Nice and easy day. On day 25 though, remember how I told you that the penguin was not just a random penguin? Well guys, I present to you Steve, the penguin overlord. This guy right here, he can just be placed in the same place as the other animals. All animals are equal, but Steve is more equal than the others. So I spent 25 days trying to create an altar? A throne? Something? I kept building things and breaking them down because I thought I had good ideas, but when I put them in practice I realized they do not look so good, so I broke them down. I ended up with this simple design for now, which was good enough. Welcome home, Steve. I also found out that you can swing your weapon in different directions. And you know what I did with this information? Absolutely nothing, because after this day I completely forgot about it for the rest of the playthrough. I'm happy it was there though. On day 26 I spent most of the day mining under the base to create a room because I had this cool idea where I wanted to make a whole room covered with glass blocks and fill it with water on the edges and maybe even put some fish in it. I did have one issue though. I had no idea how to make glass. So I spent the whole day trying to figure out how to make glass and well, I failed. But hey, at least I tried putting 50 sandstone into the furnace and managed to turn it into 25 sandstone, so that's great. I even thought, what just happened? So I put the 25 sandstones into the furnace, which turned them into 12 sandstones. Stonks. Day 27 started with me playing around with trapdoors. So we had this tunnel going down, as I believe absolutely everyone who played Minecraft has, and we covered the entrance with trapdoors. But for some reason they were quite buggy, as you could get stuck into them when you went down. And that's what happened to me, which made me want to close the trapdoors as I was stuck, and well... This was very entertaining to me and probably really risky, as there was a chance I might have just teleported somewhere underground and suffocated, but hey, that did not happen. Well, it almost did, but I had fun. Also on this day, I was starting to think that the game simply did not have any glass blocks yet, so my idea kind of just failed. It wasn't a complete failure though, as we would end up using the room for something else later on. For now though, I spent the rest of the day looking for softwood. For what reason, you ask? Don't worry about it for now, okay? Just don't worry about it. Day 28 was mostly spent fighting spiders as we needed venom sacks to upgrade to thorium armor. Day 29 I went out to look for some red clay in the desert for... some reason. I don't really remember why and I didn't put it in my notes, but I think it was to try to make glass. On my way back to the base though, I found some bones I wanted to interact with while I was on my horse, but pressing F meant going off the horse, and the second it happened, it kicked me and ran away. Oh no, this is bad. This is really bad. Oh, never mind, we are fine. So as I went back to the base on day 30, I realized all that was absolutely pointless, as I didn't even need specifically red clay. I could have just dug clay from next to the house. Oh well, at least we had some for building. I also went underwater next to the base and found this massive whale. I wasn't going to try to fight it melee, so I tried shooting some arrows at it and it absolutely did nothing. Now sure, I did upgrade my armor to thorium armor and thorium swords, but even so, look how little damage the sword did. If I did that little damage, I was not going to stick around to find out how much damage it can do to me. Moving on though, day 31 and day 32 were mostly spent looking for white petals and red petals. Now the reason why we needed these were for colored wool. What would we need colored wool for? Again, don't worry about it, okay? Actually, why am I even saying this? It's literally in the thumbnail. When I created the character, I made him look like Luffy, so I realized that one of the goals for the game would be to build Going Merry. And so in the process of building Going Merry, I wasn't feeling very merry, because I had this item I wanted to put on the head, but it could not be placed anywhere to make it look like an eye. It really did not want to be put on. I have no idea what the issue was. It wasn't just for one day I struggled with it, the struggle continued even on day 33. I thought that if I would put a block against it, it will work properly. Which it did. But when I took down the block, it got destroyed as well. I made an alchemy bench on this day and created a potion to become the most fearful monster.
Turned into a dog with an armor! Wait, why do I need an armor? Charge!
All my enemies shall tremble. On day 34, I spent the whole day looking for wool. We needed a lot of wool. That's all. Day 35. While I was looking for some more wool, I also created a bear trap, and you know what I did with it? I found the perfect bear to test it on, as he was on a ledge, so I placed the trap under... Did I just bear trap myself? Ignore that. I destroyed the blocks under him and made him fall directly on the traps.
can just do this.
Nailed it. On day 36, I know it doesn't look like day, but the day just started, and I think there was an eclipse or something. Anyway, I went to the bridge and tried shooting at the enemies on the island, and, well, it really didn't do a lot of damage, so I thought maybe we need the next level weapons and armors before heading there. I also checked on the animals to see if any of them grew, but none of them did.
No, I don't wanna hit the pigs with berries, I wanna feed them. I don't think you can feed them berries.
I tried feeding them again, and that did not work either. I was lost. I needed help, and I knew where to get it. I went to Steve to ask for advice.
What do you think, Steve? How do I make the Hytale grow? What? He just snooted. Wait, he's gonna do it again.
He just communicated with me.
He's gonna do it again, isn't he? Snoot. He snooted again! Ow. God damn it. Wait, what? How did I do that? How did I... What? You can place meat skewers on the floor. How?
I placed food on the ground. I did not know you can do that. Maybe that's how. Time to do some scientific tests. So I spent the rest of the day putting apples and meat on the ground for the animals to make some scientific experiments. On day 37, I finished putting up the food for all the animals we had. At this point, it was just a matter of waiting.
I'm sure we had more than one horse. Anyway. Fair enough.
Day 38, I decided that if getting an animal farm won't work, I should try to at least level up gardening to get a stable food source. This initially started as just a small plot, but I thought if I was going to make a garden, I might as well make it look nice. Day 39, I started having a rough idea of what I wanted to do, but it only started with the road leading to the garden. So I had to go mine some stone and, well, I got a bit distracted by the mole rat, and believe me, he's way more dangerous than he looks.
Oh my god! Oh, he dealt so much damage. No, leave me alone.
If I didn't have thorium armor, this guy would have definitely inflicted a lot of damage. After that, I did finish the road to the garden, so now all I needed to do was to actually start building the garden. So on day 40, I did just that. Although I couldn't decide on how to make it look, so I kept changing it. On day 41, I thought the garden would look really good with a fountain in the middle, but I realized that I made it too small, so I had to tear the whole thing down and make it larger. Much larger. And so I did that, and then on day 42, I made a fountain. I did feel like the fountain needed some fish inside, but, well, I tried to catch some fish with the box used for the animals, and that didn't work.
There's a small fish. I can't even catch the small fish.
I even used a fish trap, but that didn't work either. I got distracted from finishing the fountain though because I had an idea. On day 43, I came up with a way to make the place look smooth as I did not want to have any water visible on the plantations. And so I put water one block under the ground I planted the crops on, and on this day I got the confirmation that it works as the eggplants grew after just one day. So I spent the whole day replicating that multiple times and did some garden work. At this point it was taking way longer than I expected it to, but I was also way too deep into this to give up. On day 44, I checked on the fish trap I left earlier, and to my surprise, it actually caught a fish.
I collected a fish. Oh my god, can I put the fish in the water?
So I quickly went to the fountain.
Wait, that's not what I... How do I don't want to drop it like this. I want to actually... No, I don't want to drop you as an item, I want to drop you as a... fish. How do I... How do I drop you? Whee! There you go, you're free. But how do I... Can I not drop him once?
Yeah, so that didn't work out. I could not put the fish down, so let's go to day 45 as I need to show you something. Look at this, guys. The garden is starting to take shape, and all the crops I planted are growing, which meant not only we have food, but we also have the means to create life essence. This life essence was quite important because it was used to upgrade the farmer's workbench, which unlocked more recipes, with one of the goals being the chicken coop. I needed that chicken coop. We had to have chickens. And not only that, but the life essence also seems to be used to trade with the forest elves, as they give you new recipes in exchange that heal you for much more. So yeah, it did take a long time to complete this garden, but after all that, it was worth. Another thing that I realized today was that you can build portals in this game. With a few portals, no longer would we need to spend days just to reach other biomes, so those were quite important. The only issue was that we needed azure kelps for it and we had absolutely none. But I did remember that there was a blue biome next to our base that seemed to have the same color pattern as the azure kelp, so I went to look for it around there, but I couldn't find anything. At least not just yet. But enough with the side quest. With the thorium armor complete and the thorium weapons created, it was finally time to go to the lava biome. And on day 46, before I headed down there, we made a neat realization. We realized that you can hide your armor. Looking back through the footage now, I don't even think that option was there before, but an update from the previous day allowed this. But that means Luffy can finally be just Luffy. And just in time, because we went through the lava biome. And Luffy kind of hates magma. Remember earlier when I said one enemy there was really dangerous? Well, I wasn't talking about the golems. The golems were just fine. Don't focus on that guy. Focus on this damned frog. It may look less dangerous, but don't let the appearances fool you. This frog can use the tongue to pull you behind wherever they are. And this is the worst biome for them to exist in. There's lava everywhere. And I found that out the hard way.
No! No! Jesus Christ! That was too close. That was a bit too close.
This left me scarred. From this point, I hated these damn frogs. And it wouldn't be the last time they did something like this either. But anyway, for now we kept exploring this lava biome and defeated more of the golems and frogs. They were dropping the essence of fire, and just like the essence of ice, we will be using those later in the video. But not on day 47, because this day was completely wasted. Now that we were in the lava biome, I was curious how far down I can go. Is it like Minecraft? Is there bedrock? Only one way to find out. It just took a really long time, but eventually I got to the bedrock of this world and couldn't dig any further down. I honestly don't know what I was expecting, but there you go. And so with that, I returned back and go to day 48, and this day was... let's call it the National Irrigation Day, because I realized I can build a garden watering can to make the crops grow faster. But it was quite painful, as I could only use it for a limited amount of time before I'd have to go refill it with water, and I could have just been smart to build a whole garden next to the ocean. Heck, I could have built it on the ocean itself, but I didn't. And so at first I tried to just dig a tunnel from the ocean underground all the way to the base, but look at the water physics in this game. They are weird. It doesn't work as it does in Minecraft, it just stops a few blocks after where it starts. It doesn't make sense. So then I tried to make an infinite water source, but that doesn't seem to work in this game either. Now this does make sense, I won't complain about that. But my next idea was to try to pick up lava with the wooden bucket. Don't ask me why I went down to try this, okay? I don't remember. I think I was curious to see if I can make obsidian, but it doesn't exist in here, it's just cooled magma. Anyway, because all my ideas failed, on day 49 I just had to go do some gardening manually. There is something good that came out of it. Which was that somehow the fountain now had fish inside.
There's a fish now! It worked! Wait, no, there's 2 fish, there's 3 fish! How did I get fish inside here? You know, I don't care. There's fish inside here now. Maybe it's because of the plants I put on top? Does that impact what fish you have?
I wonder if it's because of the lily pads and plant I put on top of it, but I don't know. What I know, or I thought I knew at the time, was that farming was a big part of the game, and so I really focused on that. Now for day 50, I really jump-started that day, because as soon as the day started, I set myself on fire on these pillars by bumping into them. Nothing beats starting the day like that. It's definitely gonna wake me up inside and outside. Anyway, for this day I realized that it was so inconvenient having to jump down from the base to go in the water to the ship, build a bit and then have to jump around to get back to the base. So I spent a whole day making a tunnel connecting the base to where the ship is. Day 51. I wrote in my notes that on this day I worked on the farm and made eternal pumpkins, but I didn't even tell you what these are, did I? Basically, there are two types of seeds, the normal ones and the eternal ones. When you plant, let's say, a normal pumpkin seed, when it grows, you harvest it and that seed is gone. Meaning you have to spend more life essence to create more seeds. But if you manage to get an eternal seed from one of the pumpkins you harvested, these will keep growing no matter how many times you harvest them, which is really helpful for making life essence. Oh, I also upgraded the farmer's workbench to level 5 and made a road from the bridge to the base. Day 52. I checked the Arcanist workbench and noticed that there is a fire stuff I could be crafting. We even had almost all the materials. All but one, which was a ruby. And I had no idea where to find this ruby. But the description says it's located in rich pockets deep underground. And so I thought, well, it's a ruby deep underground. It has to be the lava biome. So I went there and explored around. Very carefully this time. That is not to say it was not scary. It definitely was. There were frogs everywhere. I couldn't find any rubies unfortunately, but you know what I did find? On my way back to the base, I passed by the blue forest again, and this time I noticed some sparkly things inside the waters around, so I investigated. And I finally found some azure kelp. Enough to create a portal. But that wasn't my goal for now. So on day 53, my thought process was that I knew what was under the base in the forest biome, but I did not know if the desert biome had the same thing as you went deeper. So maybe that's where the ruby was. And let me tell you, oh boy, that was not where the rubies were. So I saw this weird looking mound with some flying wasps around and I decided to just go in. But as I went to the middle of it, I found out that it was empty. There was a massive drop with small larvae just dying for no reason. I did not want to go inside. Just listen to how creepy the sounds are and you can see the larva eggs all around.
Oh, that's disgusting.
This was a horrible place to be in. But what if these guys had the rubies?
Oh god.
I had to keep a safe distance though. If I wasn't too careful, I could be overwhelmed down here, and unlike the other areas, I don't know how I could escape from here. They were everywhere. After exploring a bit, I found this guy standing above another hole and I was thinking, was I about to go even deeper? Well, yeah, yes I was.
What the is that?
What is that indeed past me? I found the queen of whatever these guys are. One wrong move here and everything would be over. The queen herself was harmless, but it had so many guards around. After carefully taking care of them, I went to check around for the loot and there was nothing. No ruby in here either. After going down further in some caves, I also confirmed that the desert also has the lava biome, so it was unlikely that the rubies were there either. And by this point it was day 54, and on this day I entered another queen lair just in case I was unlucky with the first one, but no rubies here either. So with that in mind, I returned to the base, really confused as to the whereabouts of this ruby. On day 55 I thought maybe it was somewhere up in the north side where the icy region was, but before we could go there we needed the portal room. So after mining some chalk, the failed room idea from before turned into a successful portal room. With one part of the portal done, the only thing left was to get to the icy region and create the second portal there. So on day 56 we did just that. This was the first time we properly used the horses. I used them here and there before, but they were hard to use as they kept running away. However, as we knew we'll build a second base here, it was easy to just make a fence next to it.
Oh! Okay, well I've done it.
I love this region. As I was chopping some trees for the wooden cabin, a blizzard hit and it was such a great atmosphere. You could not see too far ahead because of it, so I had to be careful. That took the whole day though, so at night we built a portal and went back to base to sleep. Day 56. On this day... Hold on. Day 56? I just went through day 56. Yeah, it says it right here. I have no idea how this happened, but at this point it's too late to change it. So, day 56, the electric boogaloo. On this day I fought some saber-tooth and some polar bears in the snowstorm and finished up the wooden cabin. The cabin looked great. I really loved how cozy it looked by the end. Yeah, this was nice. Day 57 started off like a lot of days by this point, which was doing the morning gardening routine by harvesting grown plants and planting some more. After that though, we built a proper fence for the horses, and let me tell you, these horses are smart and they really wanna go out. The moment they see an opportunity, they will take it. But I'm smarter. Oh, you wanna get out? Ha, you can't. Oh, come on, it's open. No, no. What was I doing? Anyway, with that finished, we found a massive looking stronghold, so we knew we'd have to invade that. But given how hard normal enemies are around this icy region, we really had to be prepared, so we went back to the base to do just that. And on day 58, I gotta be distracted because I realized I leveled up the farmer's bench enough to finally make a chicken coop. I was just a bit confused on how to use it, so I spent a bit of time trying to figure out how it works. After that though, we headed to the stronghold to conquer it, and oh boy, these guys hit hard. They were definitely the hardest hitting enemies we've encountered so far. To add to that, this place offered no time to rest. At all. In other places, once you defeat an enemy, you could heal up and continue onwards, but not in here. Enemies spawn so fast for some reason. And that wouldn't be too big of an issue if you didn't have to run back to heal. So you progress through the stronghold but want to retreat a bit to heal? Well, you might just find two enemies behind. This was really tough. I'm glad we came prepared. And so after fighting around here, I opened this door to loot what's inside, and well...
There's things on the left attacking. There's things on the left. Retreat. Retreat, 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 retreat. Oh, and they respawn. Retreat. We need to go out. We need to get out. We need to get out. We need to get out.
After retreating to heal and go back, we managed to take down everyone. But man, that was intense. At this point, it was getting dark though, so we camped in this mansion we just took over and waited for the morning. The next day, we continued looting the stronghold as there were a lot of houses left to loot. I was quite disappointed though, as not even this had rubies. But if not this, then where could they be at this point? Anyway, we returned back to base and I wanted to test something. Too long have I been unable to explore the underwater sections of this world. It was time to change that. I saw that the alchemy bench had another potion of transforming. For this one, you could transform into a frog. So I made that, transformed myself into a frog and successful... Oh wait, they can't breathe underwater? I mean, sure, I understand they can't have infinite breathing underwater, but not even increasing the amount of time you can stay underwater by a bit? Nothing? At least I had fun with it, you know. Next thing for that day was to head to the desert region to make a teleporter there too. I needed to grab some dry logs from there for the workbench upgrade, so I thought I might as well make a teleporter now. On day 60 I found the dry logs and headed back to the base, where I proceeded to spend the whole day just organizing chests. Day 61 was focused on trying to finally use the life essence by buying different cooking recipes. I also tried to find more chicken for the chicken coop. Don't ask me why I didn't do this earlier, okay? I just left the chicken coop there without any chicken and got distracted. But not on this day. On this day I was fully focused on that. So after I put some chicken in there, I had an issue. I went to check on them at night and they weren't there anymore.
Where did all the chicks go? I think they went inside the coop at night. Oh, that's... Well, there's only one way to find out.
So on the next day, I check if my theory is correct, and I was a bit concerned because it was day, but there were still no chicken out.
Maybe I shouldn't leave this raw fish here festering. No one wants to eat it. Oh, the piglet is sleeping. Oh my god, that's so cute.
But you know what? For a moment I didn't even care, because I saw the piglets just sleeping. Look at these cute guys. And as I was watching the chicken coop in the morning, I saw them coming out and noticed that the chicken coop now had an egg. Absolutely fantastic, it worked. There was one issue. It seems that whenever they were going out of the coop, they could escape from the enclosed area, so I had to change it a bit. And after I did, I was reading about the ore needed for the next tier of armor and weapons and found that they are located in the depths beneath the Scorched Lands. Now, it wasn't hard to guess where the Scorched Lands were. If we wanted to get to the next upgrade, we had to go to the Island of Mists. Before we went there though, we had to finish the construction of Going Merry, as this may be a journey we might not return from. So on day 63, I went out to look for some wool. We needed a lot of wool for the sails and the sheep were quite rare. I really wish we could have grown sheep, but unfortunately I still haven't figured out how to do that. At least I found a temple, I think, that is under development, which was great because there was a sign saying under construction, and you just know I had to break it and collect it for the base. Day 64 was not luckier either. From my calculations, we only needed one wool left, but that sheep was nowhere to be found. To make things worse, I found the chicken that I wanted to collect, but I panicked as I saw a wolf next to it and I thought it might attack it, so I wanted to take care of the wolf before doing anything. This just led to the wolf attacking the chicken instead of attacking me. And in a panic, I attacked the wolf and successfully killed it, but I also attacked the chicken and killed it too. The next day went a bit better though, because you know what? Going Merry was finally completed. Take a look at this. I was so happy with how it looked. It was perfect. The sails looked perfect. The deck looked perfect. The head of the ship with the sheep looked perfect. It even had the back part of it. This was the perfect emotional boost I needed. Nothing could defeat us on the island anymore. The power of weeb was in me. There was only one thing left to do. To finish the bridge leading to the island. There was no going back now. And so after the preparations were done, on day 66, we finally stepped foot on the island. What kind of horrible creatures would await? Is that a cow? It's an undead cow. The cow brought me to half HP, that's not good. The Green Reaper was also there, but he was stuck, he couldn't move, so we quickly assaulted him with arrows and look what I found. It's an undead horse. Never mind, now it's a seahorse. We found an undead horse. I shall name it Invincible. Invincible, you are perfect. Now let me leave you here at safety because it's dangerous out there where you just were. Anyway, we continued exploring on the island and boy, this island did not look habitable at all. The undead are ruling these lands. Even the pigs are undead here. So after fighting an undead gunman, it was getting a bit dark, and let me tell you, after fighting this guy, I knew it was not a place I would like to spend my nights in, yet. So with the first exploration being a success, we returned to the base and we slept for the night. On day 67, we went back on the island and focused on trying to get the adamantite, which meant one thing: going down. It didn't take long to find a cave that goes deeper and that had adamantite.
Oh yeah!
It was actually a lot easier than I anticipated. But as we followed the water further down where it went, my jaw dropped. Dinosaurs? In this game? I could not believe it. Look at all of this. This is absolutely massive. We have found a whole lost civilization. I had to be safe here, but there was no way I wouldn't go down to see the dinosaurs myself. We had to find a way to dig down. And so on day 68 we managed to get down, and the first thing that we encountered was not a dinosaur but a carnivorous plant. Well, not one, 3 of them. Man, this place looked amazing. Fighting these plants whilst having so many dinosaurs roaming and flying around was incredible. And I thought I've seen it all, but I so did not. After we explored a bit more, we encountered the king of this place, the T-Rex, also known as the Cave Rex apparently. Now, I don't want to see anyone saying, oh, you are fighting him at a long distance, that is cheating. Look how much an arrow was damaging him. Just look at it. It barely does anything. I would have not survived 5 seconds against that guy, not with my thorium armor. Heck, we were barely surviving with the little dinosaurs. Did another one just spawn? Need to run. Oh my god, another plant as well. Can't outrun them, they are too fast. This is not good, this is not good. Yeah, we barely made it out alive from there. Maybe we overstayed our welcome. Oh my god, another one is coming. Yeah, at this point we decided it was time to return back to the base and process the adamantite we just gathered, so we went back. Day 69. This day was spent clearing up the inventory from all the things we found during the exploration. But things were going a bit messy again, so I spent some time arranging where the things went. I burned myself against the pillars again. And it didn't happen just once. For the past 30 days, I kept bumping into them and burning myself. So you know what I did? No, of course I did not break the pillars down. Steve needed them. No, I just created myself a small pool next to the pillars where I can jump into. See? Works perfectly fine. On this day, I also did another test. I wanted to see if Invincible was faster than the regular horse, and well, unfortunately, it doesn't look like it. They seem to have the same speed. At least for now. Now, the last thing I did for this day was create an adamantite pickaxe, and oh man, it's faster. So much faster. I would put this on the level of a diamond pickaxe in Minecraft. It breaks cobblestone in one hit. It even broke through day 69 and brought us to day 70, where, after doing some gardening, I realized that if I wanted to upgrade the farmer's workbench again, I would need golden wood trees, specifically sallow. Now, where in the world could I even find these? So I went around to look for them, and on my way back noticed that the chicken were out of their fence again, so I put them. Did he just literally ignore the fence and walk through it? Do it again, I dare you. No, don't be shy, do it, I saw you do it. That was weird. Anyway, I couldn't find it around our base, so on day 71, I tried to look for these sallow trees in the icy regions. Why would sallow trees be in the icy region? I don't know, okay, maybe they were icy sallow trees. Speaking of icy things, another reason I went there was because for the next workbench upgrade, we needed ice essence. And with the new armor and weapons, it was not hard to take down some yetis for that. After returning to the base, I thought I had a brilliant idea. As I was looking through things I could craft, I noticed ink. Of course, I had to use the ink for the signs. Nope, got excited for no reason. Day 72. I started the day by checking on the chicken, which escaped again. I had to do something about it. It won't look pretty, but you know what? It's not my fault they are trying to escape. Oh, I also noticed that the chicken had different sizes. That's quite cool. Anyway, with that done, I also found out that you can craft bombs. More like cherry bombs, I guess. So before heading out, I crafted some and off we went to the Islands of Mist. I don't even know why I crafted these, I've never actually used them. With some amazing teamwork, we managed to take down a massive guy and he dropped a grimoire to raise skeletons. Now, of course I had to use that. Or at least try, because the way it works is that you have to stay in one place for a few seconds as you cast it, and enemies in the game are not nice enough to allow you to do that. Also, I think it requires something that I didn't have. Maybe mana? Maybe bones in the inventory? I don't know. But as we were exploring some more around, the night fell. This was not good. Spending the night out in the open sounded too dangerous, so we had to make a tough choice. We had to invade the skeleton bastion and make it safe to stay overnight. It was quite scary, I'm not going to lie to you. Sure, I could see the enemies in front of me barely, but it was so dark I couldn't see the enemies shooting from above. Even so, we managed to clear that encampment. So, again, I should have learned by now, but I didn't. After we stayed a bit there, I got too confident. So as soon as day 73 started, we were exploring another bastion. And I had no care in the world. I was just thinking, where could I find the void essence that was needed for an upgrade? I can't remember what for now, but let me play this out for you.
And then go to the island from the ice region, because there's another island north of the ice region. Oh, Jesus Christ! What the? Nope, 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 up, oh! Oh my god, I'm dying. Oh, one of them is here! No! Please, no! Oh my god! Please! I need to fuck off from here. Oh my god, I was so close to dying. I'm hiding.
Very intense. Literally escaped with 1 HP.
Yeah.
This
oh my
whole
god.
thing, I don't even know how I survived that. This was a complete mess. These alchemy guys did not care about your shield. No, the potion or bomb or whatever they throw just goes through it like it's nothing. I just couldn't believe I managed to survive that. But I healed up after. And I thought, okay, now I know where they are. They won't take me by surprise. Time to take them down. 3 skeletons coming out? Easy, we'll just group them together.
It's the one that...
But then the alchemist guy again.
So much damage.
Just one of them dealt so much damage to me, so I thought maybe I should try to raise some skeletons to help me out, but again, it didn't work. I was missing something. Fine, no raised skeletons for now. I explored a few more minutes and got everything from the upper level, which meant I had to go down the ladder again. As soon as I did, the bastard started throwing things at me again. Low HP again.
Okay.
Healed again. Went down again. Almost died again.
I'm running. I can't run. I can't run. Fuck.
Nah, you know what? I'll just shoot from above. Time for the spoils of war. Really? All this for some adamantite ore? This was the point where I started realizing that the loot you get from all these bastions might not even be worth. To have a chance to take them, you need a high level gear, and the ores they drop are just on the same level as the gear you have. The same ore that would have taken me 5 minutes of chill mining to get. Anyway, with this done, I was completely out of food, so we returned to the base. Day 74. This day was mostly spent gardening, organizing inventory, and trying to figure out where to get this ruby from. I was starting to believe that maybe they are not obtainable as the game is still in early access. They are obtainable and we did get some, but for now, I wasn't sure. On day 75 though, a part of me died. The part that believed raising animals is possible in the version I was playing. It was time to let go of that idea. I tried everything. I could have looked it up online, but the way I wanted to play this game was to not search up anything. I wanted to be able to discover everything in game. Anyway, I also finally made an adamantite sword and a bow. And I thought, what better way to test them than on bears? It was time for some bear hunting, and I knew exactly where they would be. And to be honest, the damage was higher, but it didn't feel like much higher. It wasn't like the difference between a thorium pickaxe and an adamantite pickaxe. I mean, it was fine, but not mind-blowing. And after testing that, we needed to look for some void hearts in order to upgrade the armor bench to be able to craft adamantite armor. So at night, we went out the desert, and after taking everything we could see down, the flying guy monster dropped a void heart. Okay, so these were the guys that we needed to hunt. Understood. So we spent the whole night hunting them down and got all the void hearts needed. The next day, we returned to base to upgrade the workbench to its final level. For now. The only missing material now was heavy hides, and there were a few ways to get them, but the easiest way I could think of was from bears. So you know what that means? Bear hunting again. At this point, bears didn't represent too much of a threat and they would drop 1 or 2 hides. That is not to say it was too easy, because we needed a lot of hides, so it took a while to find them. On day 77, while waiting for the hides to turn into leather, we went out exploring and I discovered an interesting thing about Invincible. Unlike the horses that are more alive, if you leave an undead horse in the water, it doesn't swim back, it just sinks at the bottom. My guy, are you actually a seahorse? Anyway, this small adventure wasn't completely pointless, even though we went quite far, as we were able to find more Jorkelps. Great, that means more teleporters available. Don't mind if I do. The downside was that it took a big part of day 78 to return to base, but once we did, I arranged all the stuff in my inventory and finally created the last set of armor the game had to offer for now. Adamantite armor. The game does show you there's another one, but I think that's still in development, as it implies there's a whole other region where you could find some new materials, but I don't think that exists for now, as by day 100 I feel like I explored all the biomes and I still couldn't find it. With this final upgrade, we were finally ready. Ready for what? Well, earlier whilst on the island of Mess, I noticed that this island also had massive fortresses. And considering one small bastion created so many issues there, I did not want to take risks until we were fully ready. And with that in mind, on day 79 I had an idea. Before we headed out, I had to complete one last building project, which meant I needed more materials. Which meant that this day, I only did one thing and one thing only. I dug. I dug like I've never duggen before. Now, day 80. On day 80, I was busy building up and forgot to make myself a way to build down. I didn't want to destroy what I just built, so that meant one thing. I had to make a leap of faith. In retrospect, out of all the stupid ideas I had in this game so far, this might have been the stupidest. Why? You'll see in a bit, but for now, I nailed the landing. What was I building? Well, since I got Steve, I feel like he brought me good luck. I had so many encounters where I should have died, but I didn't, and so I felt like he deserved his own throne. A way of showing my appreciation for the Penguin Overlord and maybe to ask for one last bit of luck for assaulting the fortresses. And as I kept building the tower for Steve, on day 81 I had one thing on my mind only. Why was I building it so high up? There was absolutely no reason. Given my track record, I missed a lot of times where I should have pressed control. Was this really worth? One wrong move and I would be falling to my death. Luckily, that didn't happen though, as I finished the hardest part of the tower. The only thing that was left was to finish the top part. And on day 82, the throne was ready for the mighty Penguin Overlord who...
No! Steve! Don't... Do not move, come back here.
Steve, no, what are you doing? Is this not to your liking? Get back, please. Stay there, will you?
Okay, maybe he's just gonna stay like that. Steve! Steve, come back!
Okay, let me get him back up. I had to adjust his throne.
Steve, stop! Don't go into the fire.
Okay, looks like he likes this. One last thing to do. So on day 83, I spent the whole day connecting the base to Steve's tower. I couldn't just have a normal corridor though, so it had to be special. Yeah, I might have spent a bit too long on this considering how bad it looks. Also on this day, I changed a bit of how the throne area looks and perfected it. Behold, Steve's throne. This surely would bring us good luck on the upcoming assault. So on day 84, we teleported to the ice region as that's where the massive stronghold is. And after we swam to it and used some blocks to get up, we could finally see it. This place looked really interesting though, so we explored a bit around before heading there. As I was chopping down these burnt trees and fighting a zombie piglet, I came to the realization that by this point we were really close to the end of the day. And I was not about to attack what I believe to be the hardest place in this game so far at night. No sir. But this region itself was quite dangerous. I thought a good place to camp for the night would be where the enemies wouldn't expect us to camp. And what better place than a volcano for that? That meant that there were a lot of gaps where I had to jump over lava pits. I carefully jumped around and headed to the biggest volcano we could see. We were climbing that one because on the map I could see something golden there. You see it? Remember I was saying earlier that we needed golden trees? I was 100% sure that this is it. It had to be it. But after reaching the peak, I couldn't see any tree. That did not deter me though. There was something on this volcano and I wanted to see it. So I did something stupid again and built a bridge over the middle of the volcano to see what exactly is down there. And you know what? There actually was something there. I couldn't make out exactly what I was seeing, but there was definitely something there. And it was moving. I did gain some information, but that was a very risky thing to do. We also saw some islands on the north of where we were, so if we were to survive the assault, we decided to go investigate those after. Anyway, with that being said, we went back down without any issues.
Ah!
I probably should have brought the water bucket with me, to be honest. That didn't matter now. Nothing else did. Because it was day 85. And it was time for the assault. Charge! Hello? Is there anyone here? This place looks kind of empty. I was expecting so many enemies to be here. Where did everyone go? What is that? That is a big nope, that's what that was. Maybe the whole town got destroyed by these two fire puppies? Sure, we'll go with that. We'll avenge everyone that lost their lives here by taking you guys down. Wait, why would I want that? The skeletons are not on our side. Let's try that again. After exploring a bit more, we found another stronghold. And this time, oh boy, this time it was also almost empty. Just a few skeletons? I had no idea what's happening. This was so anticlimactic. I remember looking through the codex and noticing that I did not see one type of enemy called Void Taken, which only had one mob in it. Now surely that meant that was a boss, right? But if this place doesn't have them, what does? I was considering, hey, maybe they would be on the islands instead. So that's exactly what we did. We just jumped down from the volcanic region and spent most of the day swimming to the island. After exploring a bit, I realized this island just seemed to be the same as our region. It had all the biomes, but they were just on a smaller scale. So we found a nice place to rest and figure out what we will do next. On day 86, we found out what we should do. We should just keep swimming north. And we swam for so long we discovered a new continent. There were a lot of things that I was familiar with, like the foresty region and the desert, but nothing could have prepared me for what I was about to witness. For after going through a savanna for a bit, we found a new village of friendly people. We have officially found the Furry Town. This place was filled with fennec foxes. I was glad that they were friendly because the last thing I wanted to do was murder fennec foxes, they were too adorable. So we left them in peace and continued exploring this new continent. And so at night we found a new fortress and well, the previous fortresses really left me wanting some action, so whatever was going to be in there would have to do. Charge time! Again. This place was filled with skeletons. Skeleton pirates maybe? And so I went through the main entrance, saw they were there and I thought I should try a pincer attack and go through the side. So I saw this gap I could jump across and reach the other end and failed the jump.
Okay, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Maybe I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, I agree with past me there. This could have turned out quite badly. If I didn't have adamantite armor there, I would have definitely been dead. But I did. I'm sure Steve had to do something with this. So we took down everyone and I even found a new weapon. 90 days into this game and I found a new weapon. An iron hand crossbow. This had 6 arrow charges you could reload and shoot. And so instead of going east where the base was, I wanted to test this new weapon so we went west instead. Getting further and further away from the base. Day 87. This was a big day because we finally found the lucky stronghold. There were a lot of enemies here to take down, but unlike the previous times, this one was worth it. I would even say it was one of the main points of the exploration, as one of the chests around here contained a ruby. I almost couldn't believe it. By this point I stopped believing in their existence and there it was, in front of my eyes, and in my bag. That was definitely a sign that we needed to return to the base. The inventories were absolutely filled with everything possible. Everything but the one thing we needed now. A portal. I don't know why we didn't bring one here. Maybe we weren't expecting to head so far out, which meant we spent the whole day returning to base. And just like the other times, as we managed to get back on day 88, the day was spent mostly just arranging things in the inventory and cooking some food. I was getting the feeling like the backpacks were not big enough at this point, so I felt like we definitely needed a backpack upgrade. And for that, well, for that we needed a lot of heavy armor. And on day 89, I did not find it. In fact, instead of finding anything, I lost something. So on this day, I decided to take the horse to make the process faster. And I managed to find one of the big boys that dropped the leather I needed, so of course I got off the horse. And after taking it down, I was like, "Aight, time to go to the next one." But I couldn't find my horse anymore.
Where'd my horse go?
Was it behind this tree? No.
I lost the horse.
Did it go the other way?
You couldn't have gone far. Where did the horse go?
Is what I was thinking. Let me rewind a bit so you can see what I also saw going back through the footage. You see it? It just vanished. What? How did that happen? You know what, for the past few days I didn't even mention it, but it felt like we were missing horses. I thought, I was just going crazy, but now that I see they are able to vanish, it makes so much sense. Anyway, the day was spent just looking for leather. And this continued on day 90 as I went to the frosty region to fight polar bears. But that wasn't the highlight of the day, as on this day I finally crafted the flame crystal staff. Cue the Legend of Zelda music. Now at this point I wasn't sure if there was another biome somewhere out there. I think one of the items said something about the sky, so I thought there may be a chance that a biome might be hidden somewhere up in the sky. And so I went to the tallest mountain I could easily reach, and you know what I did? I built up. I built up until I couldn't build up anymore, and then I built some more. Well, no, actually I didn't build up after I couldn't build up anymore. But there was no biome in the sky, unfortunately, just hopes and dreams for a biome in the sky. Anyway, the other thing I did for the day was I crafted a healing totem. And with that, it was time to test the flame crystal staff. On day 91, we went back on the volcanic island to assault some more strongholds. And to no one's surprise at this point, that was empty as well. Time to get to the next stronghold. And on the way there, I went past the perfect target practice for the fire staff, the Grim Reaper. This fire staff seemed to consume fire essences, and it consumed a lot of them. Of course, at this point I didn't realize that, and so I kept using it until it stopped working and then wondered why it stopped working. Great, I got to use the stuff for 5 seconds, that was fantastic. And so with that, we advanced to the stronghold, and this one was empty too. You know what, I had it with these empty strongholds. This time, we brought a portal with us, so it was time to swim west. So on day 92, we just started swimming. No idea where, but we did. And it's a bit late to realize this, but as I was swimming towards the island, I realized, wait, my character is Luffy, I'm not supposed to be swimming, am I? Let's just say in this timeline he didn't eat any devil fruit. Anyway, we swam so far west we found another continent, and if the north one would be America, it only makes sense that this continent in the west would be called Westeros. And once we got to a village filled with the wood elves, we made a teleporter and headed back to the base. Now, day 93. I have no idea what happened on this day. I spent some time jumping around going merry, singing some One Piece tunes while thinking where the golden wood trees could be. I knew that it had to be something where we've been already because we had 22 in our inventory already. And as far as I remember, this was only after we went to the Island of Mists. We had to try looking for them again there. But not before I turned myself into a frog on the off chance that the patch from the previous day made it so that you can breathe underwater as a frog. Sadly, that wasn't the case. So on day 94, we teleported back to Westeros as we saw one of the creepy islands next to it. And if you don't like that I called it Westeros, well, maybe this will change your mind. While heading towards the edge of the continent, we encountered one of the Icy Region fortresses, and you look at these guys and tell me they don't look like White Walkers. Even with all the armor I had, this was really close. They dealt so much damage, it was the perfect time to try out the totem. Maybe I should have tried it while I was low HP and fighting rather than after I healed with food though. As we were swimming to the island, we noticed a weird looking tree up there. And that might not have ended up being the golden tree, but as I looked at it, I noticed a tree with leaves just hanging in the distance. Not only did I not see that type of tree before, it looked like a willow tree. So we headed there and finally found it. Golden wood trees acquired. It just took 94 days. I hurried back to the base by building a portal, and on day 95 I was finally able to upgrade the workbench to tier 7. And as I was tidying up my inventory, I realized, man, this is day 95. There is a high chance there won't be more time for more than just one exploration, so I had to make it count. And I couldn't get one thing out of my head. That volcano. Sure, it might have not been the golden wood trees there, but there was definitely something in the middle of them. We had to go see it with our own eyes. But that was insanity, to go down a volcano filled with lava when you are trying to survive 100 days? Was it worth the risk? Well guys, yeah, it was. But we weren't going to go unprepared. We'll grab ice blocks, water buckets, health potions, everything we needed to make sure we'll stay alive. So at night we reached the base of the volcano and started digging. The type of block this volcano had took ages to break. Even with an adamantite pickaxe, it still took 3 hits. But we kept digging, not giving up. Eventually we reached a spot where the lava just went down and I could see it more clearly. There was in fact something down, but it was too far down still. I had an idea though. Using the water buckets we brought with us, I just placed it down and waited for the water to drip. Would it reach all the way until the end? Would it run out and disappear from the top to the bottom at one point? Only one way to find out. So I took a leap of faith again. Well, no, that's not right. I took a swim of faith and reached the middle of the volcano where I found a high rolled chest. I was really pissed off because it only had a few gold ores, but I was already sitting on gold blocks. What was the point? I don't even know what gold is used for in this game. But the place looked amazing. I can't believe all this was hiding under a volcano. Honestly, these moments made me really think, is this game really in early access? The creator of this game put a lot of thought into how to make the world feel amazing. Like, seriously, all this under a volcano? Did he just expect people to randomly go there? Well, I know I did, but still. And so on day 96 we explored around these under volcano areas and I realized that the volcanoes are just connected with this underground section. But that meant we were able to check the other volcano that had the gold in the middle. And that's exactly what we did. And you know what we found in there? We finally found an emerald. And that meant I could craft a nice stuff. At this point you can call this exploration a great success. The great success before the great disaster. Because we went back to the base on day 97 and arranged things around. For the ice stuff, the last material we needed was some more ice essence, so I spent the day in the icy region hunting down yetis. Again, at this point they were not a threat, barely an inconvenience. But I think I realized that not only will I need the ice essence to craft it, I will need all the ice essence I could gather to use the stuff. I couldn't find too many on this day though, as it was getting dark, so I went back to base. And I need to show you this. You might have noticed that throughout the video I sometimes use the day and night shots that I thought looked pretty. And smarter people would probably have just put themselves on creative mode to take these shots. But I was not smart people. No, I kept building up to get that perfect night shot. Actually, you know what? Here it is. There! It's beautiful, right? I thought so too. And then all I had to do was go back down. So I started digging everything I built and... let's watch that again, but with the background sound on. You hear that? That is the sound of me using both my hands to facepalm myself. I don't think I remember ever having such a primal urge to do that. I did it so instinctively. So you know what? No, I totally did not die on day 97. In fact, I want you guys to write in the comments, wow, look at this guy. He survived for 100 days in Hytale without dying even once. I especially liked how chill day 97 was with nothing happening during that night. We good? Okay, day 98. After the chillest day where nothing happened, I woke up without any broken bones and finally crafted the crystal staff. With that done, the only thing left was to hunt down some more ice essence. Of course, instead of doing that, I climbed this iceberg and I noticed how slippery everything was on it, so I had an idea. I wanted to test if using ice when you had a block above your head would make you go insanely fast if you keep jumping. so I spent a big portion of the day just crafting a long tunnel. The results? Well, it didn't work. At all. Jumping made you slower. Okay, back to looking for the ice essence then. And by the end of the night, I gathered enough to test the ice staff. And so on day 99, it was time to use both staffs. Be afraid, skeletons, as your death has come. For about 2 minutes, until I ran out of the essence and had to use my staff just as a bit stick. But man, were these 2 minutes cool. I mean, I did have 3 left, but as I was heading to the next stronghold, I had a bigger issue. I forgot that this area had lava pockets. Jumped straight into one. Because, you know what, why not? I'm so glad I survived that. I almost died for the first time on day 99, that was really close. If the blocks next to it were the harder to break ones, I think I would have just been dead. And with that, the day was coming to a close, which meant heading back to the base and sleeping for the night, as the next day was the big day 100. I could have thought about a big thing to do on day 100, but you know what? I kind of got attached to what was created here, and so instead I wanted to say goodbye to everyone. Goodbye, Going Merry. No guys, I'm not going to burn it if that's what you're thinking. I'm not crying, you are. Goodbye, farm animals that still have not grown 100 days in. Goodbye, Invincible, who is not so invincible under the water, and most importantly, goodbye, oh Penguin Overlord Steve. Your blessings have made it possible to get here. May you watch over this area. This was a really fun challenge. I cannot believe how much content this game has for what I thought would be a very early access. And it is early access, don't get me wrong, but even as an early access it has way more content than some fully released games. I don't want to speak too soon, but I have high hopes that the creator of this will continue building it. After all, he hasn't given up on his game for a long time. I don't think they will now. Thank you all for watching. If you are not subscribed, do consider subscribing as it helps me a lot. These videos take ages to make, so given how rarely I can upload, every subscribe really counts. Let me know if you want to see more of these 100-day videos, and if so, what other game should I attempt? With that being said, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!